It's the third and final race here at Brands Hatch, and 3B is about ready to get out on track. Now, if the first two are anything to go by, this one isn't going to disappoint, especially when you consider half of this grid is all filled with newcomers. So we're going to hand it straight over to Andy to run you through all of the action.
Thanks, Lindsay. Well, the big story here is that we have a pretty high-profile driver joining in with the B race here. Charles Mugglestone and Michael Nibs are on row one, with Nick Ledoy in third, but John Langridge, potential championship contender this year, had a non-finish in race 2A, so he is back on the B grid here for race number 3. Clive Chisnell, Joe Wilmot, Alan Hawkins, Owen Mills, Sam Jarvis and Oliver Jenkins round out the top 10. A couple to watch for a little bit further back as well. Richard Bartlett should be fairly quick, I think, in car number 78, if he's got that car fixed after yesterday's off. Jake Stiles as well. Let's hope the number 2 car is handling, or is going a little bit quicker, a little bit more reliably now than it has been so far this weekend. But yes, John Langridge then was nerfed out of the lead after a bit of contact with Will Blackwell-Chambers in race 2A. Blackwell-Chambers went on to finish second. No penalty was given, but John Langridge, with a retirement, has to start from 4th in the B race, which means the maximum amount of points he's likely to score is something like 40 or 41 points, I think, in this one. Let's see what happens, though, as the lights go out and away we go. And it's a bad start there, unfortunately, for Alan Hawkins. That 722 car seems to be very up and down this weekend, doesn't it? On board with Charles Mugglestone, and there is Langridge, the grey car with the green wheels and headlights and wing mirrors. And John Langridge not in the lead at the moment, though. Mugglestone is ahead of him, and I think Mugglestone may well have held on to the race lead here in the early going, but John Langridge definitely the early race favourite. Mugglestone will be keen to try and keep him behind for as long as possible, that is for sure. Down the hill we go, we're leaning on each other here, 3 abreast further back as we head into Greyville Bend, and some really interesting lines being taken there, but John Langridge wasting no time in getting the lead away here. He cannot afford to get caught up in anyone else's battles here. He just needs to win the race, try and set fastest lap if at all possible as well for another couple of points, and he works his way now out of clearways for the first time, and Langridge is looking now a fairly safe bet already, you'd have to say, for the race victory, but 40 points or so, which is what a race victory race B tends to win you. Compare that to the 100 points you get for winning an A race, and you can see why it's such a disaster for a championship contender like Langridge to find himself back here in the B races. However, everyone else is still looking to try and end their season, or end their weekend, I should say, on a high here. As up the hill we go with Bryn Griffiths there getting elbowed onto the grass. Oh dear, that was all a bit clumsy, wasn't it? Was that Jarvis? It was, wasn't it? Yeah, Sam Jarvis was defending from Griffiths, put Griffiths on the grass, and then outbraked himself and ran into Alan Hawkins. So not making friends there is Sam Jarvis, but I suppose that's not what you're here to do, is it? You're here to try and finish as high up the order as possible, and Sam Jarvis is aiming to do that by whatever means necessary, it would seem. He survives unscathed by the looks of it. These cars fairly robust, as we've seen already this weekend. Just up in front of him there, the number 43 car trying to make a move, not quite able to do it that time into clearways was Joe Wilmot, and then Clive Chisnell behind, who missed out on a promotional spot in the previous race by just one position and just by a few tenths of a second. On board with Mugglestone in second place, though, looking to the outside line is Nick Ledoy in the red car. There was another demotee from the A race earlier on, not for retirement though, just because he was the last remaining finisher. Over the curbs there for Mugglestone as he held on to the place. No, he hasn't. Ledoyan's gone through, so Nick Ledoyan in the red car into second place now. Mugglestone third, and then fourth in the yellow machine is Michael Nibs, who was also demoted from the A race. As you'd expect, those A race demotees tend to be able to stay near the front of the field, but not always the case. They're sometimes met with much fiercer competition in this B race than they expected. Nice move being made there by number 57 up the inside line. That's Oliver Jenkins on Clive Chisnell, who race is already starting to unravel slightly. Sort of had him down for a potential podium in this race, but it's not going to happen by the looks of it, at least not if this pace is anything to go by. This is the fight for the lower steps on the podium, because John Langridge has checked out already, and Charles Mugglestone, who was thinking about attacking for second there, now actually has to turn his attention to defending his third place, because he runs wide at clearways, and Michael Nibs almost had the chance to get alongside. In the end, though, they are single file down the pit straight. There goes John Langridge, your race leader, with second place at the moment being held by Ledoy, third Mugglestone, fourth is Michael Nibs, everyone else following in behind. No promotion, of course, for this race, because there is no, this is the last race of the weekend, in fact, for the MX-5 Championship. No more races after this to be promoted into, so it's all about just finishing the weekend as well as possible, and running a bit wide there, trying to make a move as Joe Wilmot, and again, that leaves the door open now for people to start trying to get up the inside of him. 57 there trying to lead the charge was Ollie Jenkins, and Jenkins has come from 10th on the grid now to be on the fringes of the top 5, so good stuff from him in the early stages. Novice cross on the back of his car as well, but It's pretty impressive for a rookie. Clive Chisnell there, really struggling though in this one, isn't he? Sam Jarvis and Alan Hawkins applying the pressure, and the silver and green card is not particularly happy out there, does he? He's in, what's that, 7th position at the moment. Not quite what he would have been hoping for, I'm sure. Across the line we go then, up towards Paddock Hill Bend again, and once again it's the 43 car of Joe Wilmot looking to the outside line. Charles Mugglestone though getting attacked from all sides here. Michael Nibs in the yellow car trying to get up the inside. Can't do it into Paddock, and on the exit they're pretty evenly matched as well. What about on the brakes? It towards Druids. Yes, he goes for it. Michael Nibs on the inside, but was never going to get the car stopped. He washes out wide. He takes Mugglestone with him, and watch as finally it looks like Joe Wilmot's going to get past them both. Is he? He's certainly going to get past Nibs. Can he complete the manoeuvre on Mugglestone? Yes, he can. So Wilmot read that situation perfectly. Runs a bit wide, well actually very wide out of Graham Hill Bend, but he has gone into 3rd place, and that now has really jumbled up the pack behind, because Mugglestone is down to 3rd, but 4th place still for Michael Nibs. He really lost out in a way out of all of that. So Mugglestone was wide again now, possibly with dirt on his tyres. This is a bit of a pressure cooker race, isn't it? They're all so close together that one false move by any one of them and it could all kick off, as indeed it started to there. Across the line we go then, on board with the number 74 car now of Clive Chisnell, trying to go to the outside of Oliver Jenkins, the white 57 car. Defends nicely into Paddock. Doesn't run too wide on the exit. Oh no, and there was contact, I think, with Chisnell there as he gets all out of shape. I think that was Sam Jarvis again, wasn't it, who was behind him, and contact made. Chisnell rejoins, won't be particularly happy with the way that his afternoon is panning out, and so that will not have improved his mood at all. Meanwhile, back at the front, or towards the front at least, they are continuing to debate top 5 positions here. Joe Wilmot trying to keep Michael Nibs at bay. Got that place earlier on, but Mugglestone in front of him now. So Mugglestone, who was behind Wilmot a lap ago, is now back in front of the 43 car. Just trying desperately, I think, to get himself out of this hornet's nest. Through clearways again, Wilmot runs a bit wide of the apex once more, so the yellow machine of Michael Nibs tries to get up the inside, that for 4th position. Can't do it though. So look how quick Wilmot's car is in a straight line. Look, Mugglestone, we sort of thought this in the earlier race, didn't he, when he was racing for the race victory, and he seemed to be a bit slow, and now he's not unable to defend that position, that 3rd place from Joe Wilmot, who simply drives straight back past him. So Mugglestone having to be really late on the brakes, and speaking of late on the brakes, that was Oliver Jenkins announcing his arrival on the scene as he tried to go around the outside of Michael Nibs and Charles Mugglestone. Nibs and Mugglestone are now banging wing mirrors as well, and Nibs is going to go through, so that was all very energetic stuff. I'm not sure Charles Mugglestone quite expected to be on the inside 3 abreast. He's fighting back though up the inside now of Nibs towards Surtees. You can tell it's the last race of the weekend, can't you? There is absolutely nothing to lose here for these drivers. There's no holds barred racing, and they're going to be 3 abreast again before too long, I think, because Mugglestone is now dropping backwards. Nibs has gone through, so too again has Oliver Jenkins, and Sam Jarvis, never far away from the action, is also trying to join in. This is remarkable stuff, isn't it? Quite the spectacle here. It's maybe getting a little too physical for some people's liking, but hey, that's racing, I suppose. Bryn Griffiths also going through. He's going to get past 1, maybe 2 cars into Paddock Hill Bend. No, settles with just the 1 overtake. Drives straight past the slightly slow in a straight line Charles Mugglestone. As now Michael Nibs has got Oliver Jenkins up the inside. So Jenkins, who a couple of laps ago sort of counted out of this battle, is now actually almost at the front of the queue again. Out of Druids, down the hill. The inside line though at Graham Hill Bend will be occupied by Michael Nibs. In the background, Bryn Griffiths has had a moment and lost a position just when it looked like he was going to gain one. More paint traded there, a bit more grass taken by Oliver Jenkins. Plenty of stories to tell after this race, won't there? And it's been a very, very entertaining one indeed. Through Surtees, back up towards the end of the lap then, approaching half race distance now. And for the time being, it all sort of calms down, but I use those words very tentatively, because I'm fairly confident we're going to have more action in a moment or so, and it could be Bryn Griffiths that makes the next move as he tries to work his way further up this pack of cars. There he is, the blue and gold car pulls to the outside line, and again Mugglestone just struggling in a straight line for whatever reason. The cars are all of course prepared to the same set of regulations, but sometimes if you've got some sort of underlying engine issue, you could be down on horsepower, and that seems to be the case for Mugglestone. Behind them there was an overtake as Clive Chisnell was passed by Alan Hawkins, so Chisnell's race going from bad to worse to even worse really now, as he's in danger of falling outside the top 10. Hill, deep breath everybody, into the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend, the 25 car there, which we haven't seen for a little while. That's Ivan Leary. He he is right in the wing mirrors now of Charles Mugglestone. Mugglestone's sick of seeing this car behind him, I'm sure, sick of seeing anyone behind him. He's been under pressure, it seems, right from the drop of the green flag. Just in front of him now is the Michael Nibbs and Oliver Jenkins squabble. Makes its way onto the front straight yet again. Another lap about to begin. And this battle, I think, is going to rage right the way down to the checkered flag, isn't it? Mugglestone, a bit of a cork in the bottle here, just because he's so slow in a straight line. But there's nothing more he can do about that. Round the outside of him, attempts to go Ivan Leary, and then Bryn Griffiths trying to get up the inside of him as well. Oh, Leary sideways into Bryn Griffiths. Oh no, there's contact, and Griffiths is going to hit the barriers heavily, and that was a big shunt there. Ivan Leary lost it round the outside, and unfortunately the poor Bryn Griffiths had absolutely nowhere to go. Collided with him and went straight into the barriers, and well, it looks as though Leary's going to continue, albeit with a wounded car. No, he thinks better of it, pulls off to the side of the road. Bryn Griffiths is stranded the wrong way in the middle of the road. That is at the very least going to be a safety car, possibly even a red flag. I hope it's not the latter, because we're running late in the day here and we're a bit late on the timetable, so they may not have the chance to restart the race. There's Charles Mugglestone trying to make some positions up before that potentially happens. As up towards Paddock Hill Bend we go once again, but that was a big old incident, and yeah, the red flags fly, unsurprisingly. I don't think it's because Bryn Griffiths or Ivan Leary are injured in that accident, it's simply because the car, both cars, are in dangerous positions, and there simply isn't the time to sit around behind the safety car. It's going to take most of the rest of the race to clear that up, so they're going to throw the red flag early. In reality, they're only going to lose about 3 or 4 racing laps at the most, I think, because most of the rest of the 10 minutes would have been spent behind the pace car anyway. So John Langridge gets himself a race victory, but it's in the B race, and he won't be too happy with that. Nick Ledoyen is second from Joe Wilmot, Michael Nibbs and Oliver Jenkins fifth. Sam Jarvis was sixth from Charles Mugglestone seventh. He'll be wanting to improve the horsepower and straight line speed of that car, I think, for the next round. Alan Hawkins, Clive Chisnell and Owen Mills round out the top 10. Unsurprisingly, it's John Langridge who won the race by 14.4 seconds, made all the more impressive by the fact that that was only a half race distance as well, but he set the fastest lap too. There was quite a long list of retirements. Oliver Seagan, Richard Bartlett were non-starters as well. A dramatic end to the day's proceedings then here at Brands Hatch. Not enough time to get the race restarted, so John Langridge is your final race winner of the weekend.